On today's episode of Solving Equations, we are solving equations involving combining like terms. In example 1, our equation is 2x plus 5x plus 9 equals 23. Now, to identify like terms, they have to have the same variable with the same exponent. So our like terms here are 2x and 5x because they have the same variable part. So we will add the coefficients. Our coefficients are 2 and 5. So adding those gives us 7x. So we add the coefficients and then we keep the variable. Next, we want to isolate x. So we want to get rid of this plus 9 that's with it. The inverse operation of adding is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. That will cancel out the plus 9 here. And that gives us 7x equals 14. When there's nothing in between a number and a variable, that means multiplication is happening right here. The inverse operation of multiplying is dividing. So we will divide both sides by 7 in order to isolate the x. And we're getting x equals 2. Second part of our directions say verify your solution. So in order to verify, we will go back to the original equation, and everywhere there's an x, we are going to replace it with 2. And we're going to use our order of operations to evaluate. 2 times 2 gives us 4, and 5 times 2 gives us 10. And then adding from left to right, 4 plus 10 gives us 14, and then 14 plus 9 gives us 23. So we're left with 23 equals 23, which is a true statement. So that verifies that x equals 2 is the correct solution. In number 2, our like terms are 9y minus 3y. We will combine those to get 6y, and then we will try to isolate that y. So with the y, we've got that plus 15. To get rid of that, we would subtract 15 from both sides. That gives us negative 6 equals 6y. Now with y, we still have times 6, so the inverse operation would be to divide by 6. Dividing both sides by 6 gives us negative 1 equals y. To verify, we are going to substitute negative 1 for both places there was y. This is giving us 9 equals 9 times negative 1 plus 15 minus 3 times negative 1. To evaluate everything on that right-hand side, the first operation we would do in the order of operations is multiply. So 9 times negative 1 would give us negative 9, and then negative 3 times negative 1 gives us plus 3. Adding from left to right, negative 9 plus 15 gives us 6, and 6 plus 3 gives us 9. So our resulting statement is 9 equals 9. That's a true statement. So negative 1 does satisfy the equation, so that verifies negative 1 as the solution. For number 3, we're going to combine negative 10y plus 6y to get negative 4y. Then to isolate our variable, we would add 12 to both sides. And that gives us negative 24 equals negative 4y. Then we will divide both sides by negative 4. Negative 24 divided by negative 4 is 6. To verify that solution, we will substitute 6 everywhere there's a y. And then to evaluate, we're going to use our order of operations. We have to do our multiplying before we do the adding. So negative 10 times 6 becomes negative 60. 6 times 6 becomes 36. Then adding from left to right. Negative 60 plus 36 gives us negative 24. Negative 24 subtract 12 gives us negative 36. So we're left with the statement negative 36 equals negative 36, which is true. So that is verifying that y equals 6 is the correct solution. For number 4, our like terms are 4/3 x plus 5/3 x. When we combine those, the coefficients are fractions, but they have a like denominator. So to add fractions, we would add the numerators and keep the denominator. So we would get 9/3. 9 over 3 gives us 3. So those x values combine, like terms combine to give us 3x. Now we want to isolate that x. So first we would add 11 to both sides. And that gives us 3x equals negative 12. And then we would divide both sides by 3, which gives us x equals negative 4. To verify that, we're going to go back to that original equation, and everywhere there's an x, we're replacing it with -4. Then we'll evaluate using our order of operations. 4/3 times 3. 4/3 times -4 would give us -16/3. And then 5/3 times -4 gives us -20/3. Bring down the rest, -11 equals -23. And then when we add from left to right, -16/3 minus 20/3 would be -36/3, or -36 divided by 3, which is -12. -12 minus 11 gives us -23, so we get -23 equals -23, which is true, so that verifies x equals -4 is our solution.